Good morning from the MACKEM CABBIE, Thursday morning. Well, I'm going to talk about the Preston game last night. Am I happy? Deep down, no, I'm not. I mean, will I take a point? I suppose so. I suppose you've got to. There's no other way about it, isn't it? Complaining about it because it is what it is, but it's just the performances, the last two games. It's like, that's not top of the league performance, that is it? I mean, I'm not going to sit here and blow sunshine up the backsides all the time. I mean, I'll give criticism where it's due. And if there's any evidence that the fact, like, we still need signings, because as we dive into the second string squad, they're just nowhere near good enough. Connolly, he's just way off the pace. He's just, he hasn't done anything. You tell me what Connolly's brought to the side, because to me, he's just like another Will Grigg. He's there, but that's it. He's just there. But what else is he doing? I'd probably say he's a lovely lad, didn't get me wrong, but I'm on about what he brings on the pitch, what he produces, and it's zero, zilch. It's just, he's filling a gap, and that's all he's doing. Isidore was played on the way, on the left, I think it was, something like that, but I don't know what Regis Labrie was doing. It's like, he's a striker. Watson, he's an impact sub. He's not experienced enough. He's not big and bulky enough to be chucked in the deep end to start. Great player to bring on for like 10-15 minutes to go, but not to start. I'm just concerned with the last two performances. They've just been way below par. They just couldn't seem to string a pass together yesterday, especially Dan Neil. I mean, he had an amazing game at against Oxford. But Dan Neil and all the other players, they just could not string more than two passes together. It was awful to watch. Apart from Wilson Isidore's shot that fizzed the post in the first half, I cannot remember anything else at all to get excited about. I would say Preston, definitely. If I had to pick one of the two teams, Preston were the better side. They had the better chances. Moore made an outstanding save from that long range effort, which was curling and going in. But I mean, I went on to Total Sport yesterday, and I was speaking to the legend that is Gary Bennett, and I says, do you think we'll cope without Bellingham tonight? And of course, Gary Bennett says, well, I think we're going to have to. And to me, as far as I'm concerned, we didn't. We had nothing in midfield. We looked lost. Bellingham's all over the pitch. He seems to just run the show. And we missed him like a hole in the head. We just had nothing in the middle. There was nothing feeding the front runners. Was slightly improved when Patrick Robertson Mundle came on, but even Mundle's been off it these last few games. You know, and yes, I can understand the Sunderland fans saying, you know, well, hey, it's a point on the road, it's 2 clean sheets. Well, yeah, I'll take that. I will take that. And the old Sunderland would have lost. I mean, look at Leeds, they lost. That's the only thing I think that made this turd a bit more shinier, was the fact like Leeds lost. And I just felt sorry for all the 5,000 and odd Sunderland fans down there, you know, because I've heard they had a hell of a journey getting there because the M6 was closed. I had to stand and watch that, and they still sang the hearts out. And I am gullible, as well as a lot of the other Sunderland fans saying I thought we'd win 3-0 and this and that the other, but I don't bloody know. We couldn't play a worse team on Saturday, and all Coventry City, they lost at home against Derby. So they're not the team that they were. I don't care what anybody says. You know, you're losing at home to Derby. I mean, they weren't a match for us when we played them at the Stadium of Light. But that's just evidence in the transfer window we need to strengthen, because you cannot avoid getting suspensions. You can't avoid having players injured, whether it be injuries or sickness, whatever, and you've got to dip in to your second string. But like I say, I wouldn't start Connolly again. Whether I know people say, well, what other option have you got? But like I say, he's just another Will Grigg. He just offers absolutely nothing. I spotted Connolly was way off the pace when he's being brought on against was it Oxford? He was given the ball. He was just outpaced all the time by the defender. And if you want in top two, you've got to be harsh. And if your players aren't good enough, then you just don't get a start. It's as simple as that. So people say, has the wheels fallen off? Why, no, of course the wheels haven't fallen off. But if they didn't win against Coventry, then people will be starting to ask questions. You know, we seem to have lost that entertaining, driving football that we used to be playing in this season, where we're like terrorising teams when we're going forward, we're causing problems, the quick passing and the cutting down on the right and the left, getting the good crosses in. That's just stopped. I mean, I know we've had it difficult. We've had like 4 away games out of 5, which is like, it is ridiculous. I don't know how that format's worked out, but it is what it is. And yeah, we're unbeaten still. The last 2 away games, I know that, and we've not let a goal in. But that form isn't going to get you top 2. If you want in top 6, like I say, I'll say, hey, that's a fantastic result. That's brilliant. But if you want in top 2, then no. I mean, Millwall's won 4 on the bounce. Do you know what I mean? But we keep going on about Sheffield United. Keep going on about Leeds. But there's other teams in there as well that's putting the foot down. I mean, Millwall's, they beat Burnley and they beat Leeds. They've won 4 on the bounce. All 1-0, clean sheets. So there's other teams in all in there, you know, that can just put the foot down and catch us. So... And I says before the game when I went on Total Sport, I says, I just hope Sunderland are not slow out the blocks, because you can tell what they're going to do. The first 5 minutes of the game, you can tell the pattern of the game, and it was the same. Preston were at us on the off. I think that they should have scored within the first 50 seconds or so when they whipped the ball in. And straight away our defence looked nervy and shaky as hell. But I just wasn't happy with the performance. Yeah, a point, yeah. But you kind of tell me you're going to work or whatever you're doing this morning and it's in the back of your head. You know, our last 2 performances have been way below par. They certainly haven't been top of the league stand, without a doubt. Maybe the international break will do the team the world of good. But they must beat Coventry. For top of the league team, you cannot go 3 games without a win. You just can't. Because to me, that's setting the pattern of we're not going to be top 2 by the end of the season. Fringes of the playoffs. That's the way it sets in my mind. If we go like 3 games without a win, or heaven forbid we'll lose against Coventry, which we always seem to do against Coventry, and people will be starting to ask questions. I mean, why is Mundell way off the pace? He's just not been at it, has he? Just don't know what is going on at the minute. But if I was to wring out any bit of goodness in the cloth, any moisture I've got left, it's 2 ugly performances away from home, and some say the old Sun would have lost them. We've come away with 2 clean sheets, and have come away with a point. on each occasion, and especially with Leeds United losing as well. And I know you don't have the given right to go and steamroll and beat every single team every single week. We're not saying that, but we just want the performances to be better. The standard has to be better. Because that was awful. That was awful to watch last night. I'm still trying to rack my brains how many times we had to make their Preston keeper, especially in the second half, force a save. And as much as I'm driving into Carlisle on the way to work, I cannot, for love and money, think of any time I got off my seat. I said, oh, that was a great effort, that was close, what a save by the Preston keeper. Because I can't think of any. So there we go, I've had my bit rant and rave. Be interesting to see what folk say to this video. People might say I'm being too negative and that, but I've got to be a bit negative when the performances are not good. I've got to speak what I'm thinking. Just feel sorry for the Sunderland fans who had, like I said, a nightmare journey getting there with the M6 being closed. To stand and watch that on a Wednesday night. God. And Preston, they have got a superb record at home on night games. I can't remember when the last time they lost a game at home under the floodlights, but somewhere on TalkSport, it was Gary Bennett, said it goes back a long way since Preston last lost a game on a night at Deepdale. So if anybody else can check that out, I do not know. So there we go, that's my review. And like I say, I just think if there's any more evidence that the fact we need to strengthen in depth, that's it. And I know we've still got players to come up, we've signed that we've still not seen yet, but on that evidence, dipping into the fringe players is just, we're not going to get anywhere near the top two as far as I'm concerned. If that's what our second string squad's going to be like, or when we're dipping into the under 21s and whatnot, ain't good enough. Anyway, I'm at home, I'm going to get a cup of tea, and we'll catch you later, lads and lasses. See you later.